fuck?
Hello.
I was trying to do a funny bit and everything fell apart.
That did not work. Well, hello everybody. Well, the cat's out of the bag now, but hello everybody. Welcome back to Wars in the Stars episode 93, and we have a familiar. Boba.
I'll get it to work.
Boba Fett, otherwise known as Alex, otherwise known as Candy in my van,
My glasses.
otherwise known as Daredevil. Somebody's back.
Yeah.
We're in the year 2022. No, we're 2023. Alex.
Yeah, my hair looks really red on camera. I don't know why. Is that just
You are
me?
back.
I am.
You are back. How are we doing?
I just got off work, so freaking phenomenal.
Great.
Freaking phenomenal, man.
He made that bread. He made that bread today.
That $12, bro. It's all right.
He made that bread. He made that bread. You went to a WWE thing last night. How was that?
I did. It was good. We were a hot crowd like all night long, so it was fun.
Like it was you mean a good? Oh, okay. I thought you meant
yeah.
you were like physically hot. I was like,
no. Loud as hell.
Was it in Columbus or were you in Cleveland or?
Yeah, Columbus at the Shot and Scene Center.
Is that where? That's where the Blue Jackets play, right? The hockey team. You know that?
Yeah, I think they play at Nationwide.
Okay. Yeah. All right. I don't know Columbus. I just know Ohio State's there. That's about all I know. And I heard something that it's like, I don't know if this is true, but I heard it's like a very popular, like town for, what was it, like beauty? It's a beauty town or something like that.
I don't know.
I was like,
I don't go
Ohio.
there.
Ohio's not real. You're the only person I know.
And say the only thing about the Shot and Scene area is that it's the home of Ohio University. So.
Oh, okay. Ohio. Yeah. Okay. So there's two universities, Ohio and Ohio State there.
Yes, very different, obviously.
Right. Ohio Bobcats and Ohio State Buckeyes. Yeah. All right. Was it sellout or was it like?
No, not really.
No.
And they
also crowd though still are.
Oh yeah, very loud, very loud.
Good. Well, we are back, as you can see.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So, where do we want to start this? We want to start this with Mando, right? But where do you want to go to first? What do you want to go to first?
No, man. I think we start at Mando.
Okay. What do you want to talk about first? I'll let you go.
So I've been gone the whole season.
Correct.
I've been gone a whole season of another show too. And another show, but and another show.
And a movie.
And a movie, yeah. So I missed a lot, but
wait. We gotta think Andor. Shit. What else came out? Bad
Batch, Mando, and that's it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So God damn it, you missed all the good stuff. Of course. No, I'm joking.
Dude, I'm so sorry that we missed Quantumania.
I know.
But yeah, I think I was here for Quantumania.
No, I don't.
I don't know.
No.
Time flies. Time flies. Okay.
Yeah.
Mando season 3. What a weird season. But the finale, specifically the last 2 episodes, absolute heat. Brought the fire that the season was like desperately needing. Like, ugh.
Literally brought the fire.
Yes, a lot of people were on fire. So, yeah. But man, I mean, it is, to me, it is such a wild thing to think like, oh, I have caps lock on. I'm sorry. But such a wild thing that season 3 was not as talked about. That was something that I've been wanting to talk to you about. Is it feels like nobody's talking about the show.
Hmm.
So I want to know what are your thoughts on that? What are your thoughts on the show not feeling as widely, you know, widely talked about like season 2 was?
We've talked about this a little bit off air, and I think
Mm,
you'll see more and more as we discuss. We have slightly different thoughts on this season.
mm,
I just personally think I don't think the season is bad. I think it is good, but it's not what we expect from this show, right?
yeah.
I think we have built this expectation around this show that it's going to be great. I would argue that in the first 2 seasons of the show, so 16 episodes, there was only one like really bad episode, and that was the episode with Toro Calicut. That's bad. That's
Yeah.
bad. But everything else besides that has been like really really good to great. We're coming off of season 2. Season 2 might be my favorite piece of Star Wars that I've seen, like that I was alive for, that I got to see, and that was like that's I don't think anything's gonna top that. That was like my probably my favorite 2 month stretch.
Right.
Like I would get up at 3 in the morning. I would love the discussion afterwards. Um, it was just like a microcosm of like really really good storytelling for not just our main heroes Din and Grogu, but also characters such as Bo-Katan, Ahsoka, Boba Fett,
Mm,
Migs Mayfield. Like all the whole encompassing cast was really good. This season, um, on the other hand, while it accomplishes what it's supposed to do, right? The reclamation of Mandalore. Me and you have talked about it. We knew what this season was going to be about. The one-off episodes, though, here, the side quest, and even some of the main plot stories, I just weren't as interesting. They weren't as great. I think one of the episodes we could cite um, is when the covert comes together and they save Paz Vizsla's son, right? That's like the
yeah.
first time of like really Din, Bo-Katan, like the combination of the creed starts to happen, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that episode's, I mean, it's fine, it's good. It's important to the plot, right?
Yeah.
But it's not really that good. The pirate episode on Navarro,
Mm,
interesting again, building that chemistry. They got to take back Mandalore, but they got to help out with the pirates on Navarro. Interesting, but not as good as some other episodes. So yeah, I think that's the problem right there is that
mm.
it's just it had a direction. I don't like when people are saying this season is aimless because I would argue that
It's the
it's
most like aimed season of them all. It had a
right,
very clear cut point B, and that was retake Mandalore.
right. It's just getting there
Mm-mm.
was
Yeah.
a little bit of a struggle and also for me personally, Din has become one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. I would literally like put
Mm,
him behind Anakin.
yeah.
You can say what you want. He was sidelined. Like there's no doubt about it.
Ooh.
Whether it was intentional or unintentional, Bo-Katan's story is far more interesting and
Mm,
far more impactful, which I think is a problem to me. And then when you got
yeah.
one of your producers, Rick Famuyiwa, saying, "Well, the show is about all Mandalorians now." Well, that's
Yeah.
not what the first 2 seasons was. That's
Yeah.
changing what the thing. So, I mean, that's a big thing for me. That was a big thing for me. I
Yeah.
think.
And I think overall, look, I love Bo-Katan as much as the next person. I just think sacrificing an entire season to her to overtake Din, because I hate to say it, and I think you said it when we talked about it over the phone. Din feels arced out right now. What's left for him? He's retaken Mandalore. He's basically an agent for the New Republic now. He has a little home on Navarro for when he travels with Grogu. Like, there's nothing left for him to do. He's arced out. Now,
Right.
obviously, I trust Dave and John to give him something else. Obviously, we know, I think it's only a matter of time before a civil war happens between the two clans, because I feel like that's, unfortunately, I feel like with Star Wars, I feel like that is just the easiest thing for them to do is just be like, well, what can we do to spice up let's just do another civil war. Why not?
Right.
And so I hope they don't go that route. I hope this was the definitive, like, no, Mandalorians from this point onward for hundreds of years will be united. But
oh, go ahead. Finish.
oh yeah, I was just saying, like, you know, oh, let me scooch over more. Sorry, new to this. I don't know. It's just like Din feels at a weird place right now, you know, because as I've said this quite a lot. I said this feels like Rian Johnson wrote this. He's just they're subverting every expectation possible. We think we're going one way and we go the other way. And now I don't know if I like that right now. I don't know if I'm a fan of it because it feels bad for Din. Like my boy can't do nothing.
Right. You made a really good point. Sometimes like the most or the storyline that would make the most sense is the best storyline to follow.
Mm,
And we were discussing this with Din becoming the ruler of Mandalore. It was the storyline that from the end of season 2 and from the Book of Boba Fett that made the most sense.
yes. And it just felt like it would be the most impactful. Like it just made sense.
Right.
Like a guy who was literally an apostate of the Mandalorians is the ruler.
Right. While Bo-Katan, who has already ruled the planet, failed.
Mm-hmm.
Her sister, who, and I discussed this with you, like I always viewed Satine as like the ruler of the two, but Bo-Katan is the warrior of the two. Bo-Katan
Yeah.
could never be the ruler. She's not, it's in her destiny to fail constantly. It just would be, like you were saying, a far more impactful story if Din goes from lone bounty hunter who was pretty isolated even from his own religious zealot group, you would argue. Like he doesn't, spend a lot of time with his own group as we see in season 1. He's a bounty hunter. Like even Paz Vizsla chastises him for working with the Empire, working as a bounty hunter.
Yeah.
He then becomes the ruler of his people and unites the people with the Darksaber. Would be a much more interesting, impactful story. It would make sense for the main character. It wouldn't make sense. It's just weird for me to gather. And again, we can discuss this because I've had some problems with John and Dave's writing. I think it goes back to the Book of Boba Fett. I think that's when the problem really starts. I think when you have, the Book of Boba Fett essentially become the Mandalorian season 2.5, halfway through the show. I think that's a problem.
Yeah.
I think that's a really big problem. And then to have this season, you change up who the main character is. And again, Bo-Katan, great character. This is probably my favorite Bo-Katan content.
Oh yeah, right? For sure.
And I love the Clone Wars, but that's not the way to go for me. And even her now, like she's the leader of Mandalore, but she doesn't have the darks. What is interesting about her even now? Yeah. She's cool. She's the leader again, but where is she now?
What's weird about this season to me is how like defamed the Darksaber feels now. It doesn't feel important anymore. Versus in Rebels and Clone Wars, they establish how important that blade is. And then Din straight up has a conversation with Bo saying, hey, my group like doesn't give a shit about that lightsaber, right? Like we don't recognize it as power.
Right.
And then this shit gets destroyed the next episode.
Right.
So like, and then I don't know. It's just weird because they really did put like an emphasis on the Darksaber in the first 2 seasons. Like, oh, it's this big thing. Bo-Katan's after it in season 2. It's the big stinger at the end of season 1. And then in season 3, it's straight up just thrown to the side like it doesn't matter.
Right. I actually kind of liked it. It made a lot of sense to me from a narrative standpoint. If we look at the history of the Darksaber, it's caused a lot of pain, right? Pre Vizsla has it as a member of Death Watch. Maul has it. Maul has it for a very long time. And he's like very much an outsider. And it also eliminates the questions we'll have forever about like how how does the passage of that thing actually even work? Because it
Hmm.
doesn't work. It doesn't make any
Yeah,
sense.
it's
And
literally
now
like,
it's gone.
yeah, like me and you discussed. Technically, if we're going by this weird, stupid technicality that Din tried to pull out of his ass, like by all means, then Ray's the owner of the dark saber.
Right. But now
So,
it doesn't matter.
but now it doesn't matter. The shit's gone. Which again, I'm
Wait,
a fan of. I think that honestly makes it more interesting, and I feel like it's going to be even more grounds for a civil war because I could already potentially see Armorer and Bow or Bow and Axe or whoever like go back and forth as to who the leader is. But I don't know. It's just for me when I look back at this season, I'm looking up. I have the episodes pulled up. Chapter 17 was good. 18 was good. 19 was all right.
interesting.
All right. I think the problem that I have with the Mandoverse right now, and I'm anticipating it for Ahsoka too, is that it just feels like we have such a limited amount of episodes, such a limited amount of screen time
Hmm.
to really take an entire like 45-minute episode away from the main narrative feels really, really bizarre.
Right.
Like, I understood it for Mando in Book of Boba Fett. It's the Mandalorian. You kind of have to reintroduce him to, well, what's he been up to since he left? He's the
Right.
main staple of this whole like center of Star Wars.
Hmm.
And so I understood why they did that here. But did we need an entire episode of Pershing and Kane? I just don't think we did. And it feels really bad to say, but it's just like I don't know where the show goes from here.
Hmm.
I think everybody feels the sentiment. This felt like a series finale. Show
Right.
feels over. Show feels like we're done watching it.
Right.
But no, to hear that season 4 is already written,
And they're filming in like
yeah,
literally like under a year, like
yeah.
October, I heard.
And then there's potentials for season 5. Like, what do you like? You either have to take like a 5-year time gap or time jump from here, or like something. Like, I'm sure we can both assume that season 4 is probably going to see probably like the first half of the season him be probably what Rangers of the New Republic was going to be.
Right.
Din
Which,
taking mission of the week with Grogu.
hmm,
But then I also have to remember, I think my problem going into Ahsoka off of season 3, there's such an obvious end game to us. It's Thrawn. Thrawn's going to be Thanos right now. But how are we going to get there?
right.
And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I'm happy I'm happy I don't just know the answer, but it kind of feels like, well, I kind of feel like either Mando's going to get shoehorned in or he's not going to be important at all.
Right.
And I feel like he's been the obvious center point of this entire franchise right now.
Hmm. He's the whole reason it happened.
Yeah, his show did this. If the
Right.
Mandalorian season 1 didn't succeed like it did,
We
specifically the
never
pilot,
get.
specifically the pilot episode, there is no Book of Boba Fett. There is
Right.
no Ahsoka. There is no Obi-Wan Kenobi. There is no Skeleton Crew. There is no Acolyte. There is none of that. None of that
Right.
happens. That all would have been either animation or non-existent.
Hmm.
And so I think right now, I think I'm intrigued as to where we go next.
I
I think
agree.
I think looking at a season overview, I think that's where I go before we go more in depth on 7 and 8.
Yeah, I would agree with you before, we get into that discussion about 7-8, but I would agree with you. I'm more so curious about obviously what's going on with like we know Thrawn's the big bad, right?
Mm.
But we were introduced to the Shadow Council. There's still a ton of Imperial remnants out there. You have Pelion, you have
Hux.
Hux, who we know is going to survive, and I
Mm.
assume what's her face? Her name's Ray Sloan,
Ray Sloan, she's still out there.
right? And she's a pretty big member of the Shadow Council.
Yeah.
And it's It's interesting to see what they're gonna do. I think Ahsoka's gonna be great. I'm
Oh
sure
yeah.
of that, and I think it's like gonna be the biggest piece of this universe because it's gonna establish the main threat.
Hmm.
But I feel like I agree this should be it. I feel like we need to set up like this is almost. I'm trying to like figure this like how Heir to the Empire plays out in the books.
Mm.
Like, this was, like, the first, like, book. It was just about, like, the Mandalorians and that stuff. The next book will be about, like, Ahsoka,
Yeah.
skeleton crew, like, the Jedi, what's going on with there, and then the last one will be everybody coming together, like Luke, Leia, Han, Mando, Boba.
Yeah, yeah, and I think it is important to know, like, it was confirmed at Star Wars Celebration that Dave Filoni will be directing the culmination film to this. He'll be
Right.
capping off the Mandoverse with its movie, which we all
Mhm.
knew was coming.
Right.
Um, but and I think I am in agreement at large with the community. This felt like the end of a phase one.
Mhm.
Ahsoka is the beginning of phase two.
Right.
Now we the audience know who the big bad is, and now we're going to see somebody who knows about that big bad and how does she tackle it. And I think that's where we are right now, is because I wouldn't even argue Iron Man or Iron Man 2 felt like a finale, but I'd say the Avengers felt quite finale like,
Mhm.
oh, Loki's defeated, they're all going their own separate ways, and then what do you know, Avengers Age of Ultron comes out and they're back
Right.
together. Winter Soldier comes out, Black Widow and Cap are back together.
Right.
Um, and so I think that's honestly what's going to happen. Is I think they're going to go this way, that it kind of feels finale like, and then the gang gets all back together for the next big bad before Thrawn, which I think we are going to get one more big bad before him, because I think Gideon's dead. I like to squash that theory. No, just because he's missing the mustache doesn't mean it was a clone.
I guess razors don't exist in Star Wars.
Yeah.
Nobody shaves. Yeah, well, I guess do you wanna segue now into 7 and 8? We could
Yes.
talk about Gideon.
Yes.
Um,
What
I
an
want Gideon
odd
to be dead.
Yes, and what an odd usage of this character. He got the crosshair treatment. That's how you know they had no idea what to do.
He for 3 seasons, he would just show up in the last 2 episodes, and we're like, "Oh, yeah, he
Yes,
was scary. He's
but
scary.
but
Let's
I
bring
think
him back."
I think I think though, given all that, he's still a like top Disney villain.
Well, it's just 'cause Giancarlo was I even
His charisma.
my dad and I watch with my family usually because they
Mhm.
really like to watch this type of show, and my dad's just
Yeah,
like, he any scene he is in, he just, like,
he steals
steals.
it. He steals it, man. He's so good. But the thing that I like about him, he's probably in 6 episodes of the entire show. Out of
Mhm.
24 episodes, he is only in
Probably,
a
like, less than 30 minutes of screen time,
yes.
honestly.
But he is still just so badass. And I will always I'm gonna give Disney their roses right here. I'm gonna give Lucasfilm their roses. I think they have nailed villains since taking over. Maybe not to a large degree. Not every single one has been a big hit, like Phasma and Hux. They weren't the greatest. But Kylo Ren, Vader specifically, Gideon, Thrawn, Maul, all these people, they just know how to do it. I guess maybe they're writing fan fictions about themselves and they're just putting other people in there. But I don't know. It just, for me, I love Moff Gideon so much, and his death was so funny to me. He just kind of accepted it.
Generic bad guy ending, it was so
He go
funny, I
he
just
goes
started
he
dying.
goes out like that. I feel like in everything, bro, in everything.
I'm like, "Oh my," I'm like I literally said it out loud, I'm like, "Oh my god, they copied the Breaking Bad," and they literally did. They literally just had him just stand there and go, "Ah!"
Yeah.
Just get, like, caught on fire. Um, no, I really enjoy Gideon. Gideon is
Mhm.
so interested in me now, especially because of the ramifications, right? He, by all accounts in person, are technically the first people we've seen in canon to I think successfully make or almost successfully make a
Mhm.
force sensitive clone.
Yeah. Not even Palpatine could do it. Palpatine had to make a Strandcast clone, and
This is
this is like a clone.
this is 30 years before that too.
Yes, this is like, not only did it almost look like he perfected it, he like perfected it so well that one of them was conscious.
Right.
I will say my thing with episode 8, it kind of feels weird, and I said this to you on the phone. Why did he have a button to destroy the vats?
Why wasn't he protected? He literally leaves the room and says, "I'll take care of it." And he
Yeah.
doesn't go to the room that has his clones in it. He's like,
Yeah.
"Let me go."
Do you know how much more sense it would make if, like, oh, Gideon shot a rocket and Mando dodged it and it destroyed the vats?
Yeah.
Then I'd understand. I'd be like, oh, he did that to himself. But no, he just left the room. And then he's like, my clones, how could you? Moff Gideon, not very logical. He's a very smart man, but he's very dumb at the same time.
Yeah, I was like, what are you doing right now? Yeah, let me just have 8 stormtroopers guard it, and let's just cross my fingers that it's going to work. No, I really wish that they did the thing like they did with the Dark Troopers, that like, I thought they were going to have it like, oh, they got out, like it blew it up, but actually they escaped. But that, I said on the phone too, I think like cloning and stuff, like besides the actual clone troopers, is kind of corny. I think it's just weird.
It feels also really cheap. And also because, like, look, Star Wars don't got a good history with cloning, okay? Right. It just doesn't. Let's not forget, they tried to clone Palpatine back, and that didn't go over great. Let's also forget one of the most notorious times in Legends where they cloned Luke Skywalker and named him Luke with 2 U's. So cloning in Star Wars just doesn't go well. Every time, honestly, apart from what's going on in the Bad Batch right now,
right?
Anytime I hear cloning, I just always feel so inclined to just roll my eyes like, oh, find something like unique, bro. So, yeah.
Well, I mean, Sabayoth is kind of interesting, right? Because isn't Sabayoth like a clone from Luke's hand or something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Right. I mean, it's just, it makes sense for Star Wars, right? Cloning, but it's just weird and it's never executed right.
Yeah.
So that's my thing with it. And again, I really enjoy the through line. I think through 7 and 8, we really saw that Gideon, I think the big common thread we'll see in the background of this story is the remaining Empire people trying to become the heir to the Empire, right? This is all, I mean, we already know that Filoni said he's consulting Timothy Zahn. So, like, we already know that's kind of happening. Gideon himself, he basically essentially, like, tells the Shadow Council, we need new leadership. He basically wanted to become the heir to the Empire, right? He wanted to combine the Jedi, cloning in the best Beskar of Mandalorians and make it into one thing, right? He wanted himself to be the heir to the Empire. And yeah, and it made a lot of sense. You know, we all thought it was like Palpatine, but it made a lot of sense for what we saw with Moff Gideon. Very selfish. I mean, he wanted to be the leader. He was technically the leader of Mandalore. He had the Darksaber, right? So like, it made a lot of sense. I liked it. And it makes a lot of logical sense that somebody was able to almost perfect the cloning needed to be Force sensitive. And then 30 years later down the line, Palpatine still wasn't able to. I don't even know what I don't even know still. He still wasn't able to perfect it with Snoke. What is it Snoke? Snoke's not a clone, right? Or is he? He is, right? How do you explain that?
I think he's a strand cast that like got cloned a lot.
Right, because we see a bunch of them.
Yeah.
Okay, and then Palpatine transferred his essence into
a strand cast.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's that.
I'm saying, and we did see Palpatine clone someone. His son was his clone, the father of Rey. That was a clone of Palpatine.
Just didn't have the Force.
Yeah, he just didn't have the Force.
Right. But if you read Shadows of the Sith, his story is actually very interesting.
Yeah. See, they're tying everything back together. I will say, and I said this to you on the phone, the show felt very reactionary. And I don't know if I explained it well to you on the phone, but I think I think I've got it now. this show honestly went from feeling like a very self-contained story to feeling like, how can we make some of these illogical things from the sequel trilogy make a little bit more sense?
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think it was very obvious that the show the show obviously wasn't made to correct the sequel trilogy. It was being made alongside, basically.
Right.
But then I feel like they really upped the ante this season, being like, hey, how can we make some of this not make so much bad logical sense? Because I still think like there's still a lot of questions that I have coming off of this, probably this whole entire like little part of the universe is like, where's Grogu at during the sequel trilogy? Where's Din at during the sequel trilogy? Where's Bo-Katan during the sequel trilogy? Where's Ahsoka during the sequel trilogy? You know, there's still so many questions, and I feel like that's what this show, honestly, I feel like that's what a lot of these shows are doing now, answering all those questions.
Right.
Where's this person? Why wasn't this going on? You know, why wasn't Gideon a part of the Sith Eternal? All that.
Right.
You know. So
yeah. I mean, it's really interesting, you know, because, you know, I think a lot of these characters are, I mean, how about Bo-Katan's what, like 50? She'll probably die of old age. I don't know.
Bo-Katan's like maybe in like late 30s, early 40s.
Didn't they change her age again, right? Isn't this why? Wait, isn't she like in her 20s though in the Clone Wars?
Maybe early 20s. She wasn't old.
I think it's gotta be 40s, right? It's gotta be 40s. Gotta be.
Hold on.
I mean, Din's gotta be in his 40s, 30s.
Oh God, hold on, because a lot of the stuff is. God damn.
But anyways, yeah, I agree. I think these shows are explanations for what like happened or where these characters are or where these characters are going to be. My thing is, where is if this Filoni movie is gonna be like that big with like Thrawn trying to take over the galaxy, it also adds a thing of like, why was that never explained? Because everybody like alludes to the fact that the Battle of Jakku is like the last bit of the Empire. But if Thrawn is like the last big battle, how does that make sense? If it's like years later, you know what I'm saying? That's another problem that they're gonna run into, right? Because they keep saying that like the Battle of Jakku was the last bit of the Empire, and then in reality, it's not. Thrawn's gonna come in and but also Thrawn at this point, is not gonna associate himself with the Empire, or maybe he is. I think he's going to, right? He's got to, because the Shadow Council keeps saying he's gonna come back. So like.
Yeah,
I don't know.
He'll either be a part of, instead of the Empire, maybe they'll make him a part of the 7th Fleet, because that's what he commands. Or maybe he'll have something to do with the Chiss ascendancy.
Maybe it's a combination of everything. He just has like everything. And he's
okay. I did the research.
Okay.
She's 23 during Order 66.
Okay.
So 23, 19 plus 5 plus 24. So 23 plus 24. She's 47, supposedly, in The Mandalorian. Which, hey, that checks out. Most 47-year-olds don't look too bad.
She's hot. Okay, sorry. I had to Mommy.
Hey. Just to give some comparison, Din's 36 to 38, so
that makes sense.
So it's not too far off.
Okay, I do have to ask.
Okay.
Mom and Dad?
Dude, I think they were honestly pushing towards it so many times, but never wanted to go too far.
I'm like, please just do it. It'd be so cool.
Yes, I think at this point, like, what's it gonna hurt? Yeah. Also, like, you know how many times, like, she specifically like interacted like a mom, like mom and dads together.
Right.
Like I think of on Plaisir 15. I think of in the finale when they both go to protect Grogu. Like, come on. Maybe I don't know.
When Grogu wins the little like fight, she like
Mhm.
says she's proud of him or like something like that along those lines.
Yeah, like she literally is like giving like so much like life advice to this man. Like, oh, take it easy on them. So I don't know. I'm just like,
And I know she was trembling when Din had that whole monologue, which was Din's best moment of the season. I know
mm,
she was because she's never like it makes sense for her too, because like her sister had love, but she's really never had love, right? She's kind of
mm,
always been a warrior that's isolated. Yeah, I think it just makes a lot of just do it.
yes, they can have a little house, that little house in Navarro. And I said it to you over the phone, man. And the memes of saying or Grogu's gonna hear the metal clanking and he's gonna be like, they're making some armor in there. Nope, they're making something that's gonna need armor.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
Grogu can have a
little
little friend
brother.
or sister.
Hmm. Now, granted, the age difference is a little. Could
Ah,
you
yeah, whatever.
could you imagine that adopting somebody older than you?
That's I'm still I thought about it like he really just adopted somebody older than him just because he could.
By almost 20 years too.
Oh my god.
It's all right.
Um.
Star Wars logic doesn't need to make sense.
So episode 7, the spies. Everybody thought there was a spy, but it was just a biblical reference to the 12 spies.
Yeah, kind of. Ah, dude, they knew what they were doing. I'm telling you, subversion of expectations done
Dave and
well.
John were teasing us.
But
They're
no,
like,
I'm saying like that is one of the one times that they subverted my expectations. I was like, wow. Actually, I was like, wow. I was wrong. I was really wrong.
who did you think it was?
I thought it was either the armorer or I thought it was Axe or the survivors.
I was 100% on the armorer because when they show her going back to the ship, it just like stays
Yeah,
on like her face way too long. I'm like,
and
her.
the horns on the helmet. Like, come on, you're telling me there's not nothing there? I still want to know what the horns on the helmet are for. Like,
I
no way. You're just like she sees these helmets. She's like, no, I want horns. I still think she was a Mandalorian.
well, 100%. Some people think she's Rook cast still, which would be
If you
interesting.
look at the actress who plays the armorer and you look at a picture of Rook cast, I can see it.
I could see it. I think it'd be interesting.
I could see it. I think she could be live action Rook cast.
It'd be interesting if like Bo-Katan actually found out it was.
And could like, dude, I'm telling you, that's what I'm saying. I think it just makes so much sense that we're gonna get a Civil War event like the MCU where she's gonna find out that the armorer is Rook cast.
I don't want to see that. If I'm gonna be honest, I've already seen it.
Yeah, we saw
Not
in
in
the
live
MCU.
action, but like
Could you imagine, man? Ugh,
I
I
feel
would.
like we've gotten 3 shows that have kind of like
Mm,
led to this moment. So I feel like it would
yeah,
be kind of weird for them to ruin it, but I'm done expecting anything because when I expect something, they do like the
they
exact
subvert it.
opposite. They especially the last 2
Mm,
shows they've done.
yeah.
Paz Vizsla's death.
What a hard hitting death, dude. It was giving flashbacks to the Clone Wars, all that, man. God, so sad. And to think that to think we didn't even get a scene of like Ragnar finding out. He just kind of was like,
I think Axe adopted him.
I wish we would have saw that.
That would have been so cool. But there was like no mention of like the fact that Paz like literally
Yeah.
like
No,
sacrifices.
no mention from Armorer, no mention from Din, no mention from Ragnar, no mention from Axe, no mention from Bo, no mention from anyone. I will say, I think that's like probably my only gripe about the final 2 episodes. Like, no mention of it.
Because it was like very big, like at the end of the episode.
Yes, like they lingered on him dying too.
Right. The Praetorian Guards are badass. They actually established it, you know. I actually like this design better than the ones in The Last Jedi because I still don't know how the ones in The Last Jedi see.
I'm gonna assume their mask will probably have like a bunch of little holes through it, so you could probably see through. It's
Still
like
a dumb design.
I'm saying it's like what a lot of cosplayers do with Spider-Man eyes. Is that
Right.
the little holes that go in the lenses they make? There's little holes in them so you can see through.
Right.
I bet that's probably what they do. Dude, we already knew because we talked about the leaks for this
Mm-hmm.
season so long ago. It felt like
Yeah, so long ago. Yeah, I know.
that we knew the Praetorian Guards were going to be coming back. It was just so badass to see them and
Yeah.
to see that it's a you can. I'm just saying you can tell it's a very much in between of the Imperial Royal Guard, the
Mm-hmm.
First Order Praetorian Guard, and honestly the Sith Eternal troopers.
Right.
So,
By the way, the biggest waste of fucking troopers ever. The Sith Eternal ones really pissed me off. I'm like, these guys are so dope, and then they did like.
That's the story of Star Wars. They introduce all these badass things, and they never do anything with them. Look, I'm holding them right now. When has the Death Trooper ever done anything cool?
Except talk. It just sounds like
Yeah.
really cool when they talk, and they don't do anything besides that. But no, I agree with you. The cross between the Royal Guard and the Praetorian Guard that was really cool.
I like that they were purple too. I wish they were purple in The Last Jedi.
Yeah, like what is it? It's like an energy blade, right? How do those work?
I'm gonna assume it's probably just like a bunch of like energy connected through a blade that their armor is probably resistant to. Because you remember in The Last Jedi, like that one guy, like he wraps it around Rey's lightsaber and then he like pulls it towards her or towards him. So yeah, man, I don't know. I feel like it's also weird because you're just like, it was weird because they were like stabbing into them, but they were leaving no holes or cuts or anything.
Right. When I first watched it, I was like, how did?
So I wonder if they're like vibro, like like their vibro blades are. I wonder if they're like it's a vibro sword, but with like electricity, flowing through it. But they're badass, and I love their designs. I like that it looks like it's a Mandalorian helmet too, with the little eyes coming down. Yeah, really, really cool.
So Paz got stabbed, but like it looks like it doesn't go like through it. I think it just like does it like burn you?
I'm gonna assume it probably vibrates and then just probably burns. I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean his death was pretty bad. Like he got like through the shoulder and then also like
and straight up. This show also makes me question like trying to remember what in the MCU have the same problem. It'll come back to me. Where every time we see it, its properties are never the same. And that's Beskar, bro. In this show, we see Mando literally get shot a million times in episode 7. He literally runs into a room of blaster bolts. But Paz gets shot so many times, and he's on the verge of collapsing from pain. Mando is just like,
even Gideon.
Yes. Ugh. That's what I'm saying, bro. There was something in the MCU that has the same problem every time we see it. It's never the same.
Isn't it weird too that like it's like in the Clone Wars and Rebels, like they were literally just getting shot up?
Yeah. Now, granted, it is also important to know that like not every Mandalorian's armor is Beskar. There are some Mandalorians who just don't have Beskar armor. Some have Durasteel armor, and that's not as good. But even then, like also just seeing like Bo-Katan like slice through it with the Darksaber, you're just like, what? I literally was like, wow, that's weird.
We literally had like a whole thing with like the Beskar spear where like Din was able to use it.
Oh, don't get me started on the Beskar spear. I've said it like, dude, this show is so good at making Din such a badass and then completely stripping him of it the next season.
He literally lost like 2 very cool weapons. He just has gun.
He could have peak of him, he could have had the dark saber, the Beskar spear, his Ambam rifle, his blaster,
Oh
whistling
my
bird.
god, the goddamn rifle! I totally forgot about that thing.
Like, dude, this guy literally has a blaster only now. Oh, he's got a jetpack too. And apparently the jetpacks can go that fucking fast.
Axe was in space.
I mean, that's not unheard of though, because we've seen Mandalorians in space.
Well, it's also weird that like they established earlier. I thought at first, because remember how they established that like the jetpacks only have so much fuel.
Yeah,
I thought they were gonna do
where'd the fuel come from?
I thought they were gonna do a thing where he gets up there, but like he falls directly back down because it just runs. But I'm like, okay, what?
Infinite fuel glitch, bro.
I don't. It's weird. It's just, I mean, it's Star Wars. It's like, who cares really? But it's funny.
It's funny to break down the stuff and see the very bad inconsistency because it's hilarious. I find great humor in it. And it's nothing that like takes me out of the episode where I'm just like, I need to post a TikTok and talk about how bad Star Wars is under Disney.
Star Wars just has always been weird.
It's never consistent. Okay.
Luke kissed Leia, and they were supposed to be like a relationship until George was like, well,
yeah,
how about we make them brother and sister? And then everybody's like, they fucked. They definitely fucked. Like,
yeah. Like Star Wars is never consistent. That's what makes Star Wars so great. It's just
right.
It doesn't take itself too serious. And when it does, it's good. And when it does, it's really good to see.
Right.
But yeah, I thought episode 7, like, dude, Gideon's new armor was perfection. Loved it.
Really good. I love the helmet.
It. Again, I could definitely tell that man was inspired by the Mandalorians. I wonder though, you know, I wonder what we like. I wonder if we'll see the Shadow Council's reaction to Moff Gideon's death.
I told you this over the phone. I really wish like the post-credit scene was Thrawn coming in. They were discussing
that. We said this over the phone. No post-credit scene. Why?
They just like were like Gideon was dead, and then you just see Thrawn's hologram turns on, and they're all shocked.
The voice or something.
Yep.
Like, come on. I don't know. I feel bad because it feels like I'm like bashing on a Marvel or DC movie because of the post-credit scene. But in this time, it's the lack thereof one. And what's crazy,
we've had it in the last 2 shows.
Yeah, but what's also weird to me, it's really the dodginess of the post-credit scenes that we've been getting. Like if we look at the season 2 one, that was good. It set up the Book of Boba Fett, and it was just a badass scene overall. And then we look at the Book of Boba Fett's. Not as great because it completely undid someone's death. And
I have no idea when we'll get the payoff to that. I literally have no clue.
That's kind of my problem is that where's Cobb Vanth at? I feel like at this point, if it were me, if it were up to me, what I would do for phase 2 of the Mandoverse, I would have Ahsoka start us off. I would have Mando season 4, the Book of Boba Fett season 2. Oh wait, sorry, Skeleton Crew after Ahsoka, and then I would have the Book of Boba Fett season 2 be the final part, and then phase 3. I guess do Ahsoka season 2 somewhere in there, Mando season 5. And then have the culmination film, Skeleton Crew season 2 if we need it.
Yeah, I mean, if you get 4 shows, let's just say you get 4 shows, right? So we already have 2, Ahsoka and Skeleton Crew.
Yep.
I would probably go because I feel. I mean, what the fuck is Boba Fett doing?
Yeah, like we went to Tatooine in the season, and we just didn't see Boba.
He also like kind of owes Mando a whole ass favor. He kind of helped him save Tatooine.
And also, not to mention, like, it's not a thing of like, oh, well, they just couldn't get Tamora Morrison. No. He was in the Grogu flashback as the clone troopers.
Right.
That's bullshit. They had Tamora Morrison on hand. So
it's also like, where does he show up again?
Yeah, like, what's the point?
I mean,
I guess
we kind of also have to get a Book of Boba season 2, I feel like.
Yes, because they definitely teased that Boba was gonna let the robot people, whoever they
The
were,
the mods.
the mods. Sorry, he
Yeah.
was gonna let the mods take over
Right.
as rulers or daimyos of Tatooine. And I think it's odd. I think I know
Which is
when
also
Boba.
so
Yeah,
funny that he goes like, "Ah, I don't know if I'm fit for this." And then just
yeah,
like,
yeah. He's like, that Cad Bane stuff was a lot to deal with. I don't want to do this anymore. Sorry, I'll just go somewhere else. But I think I know when Boba's going to come back. It's going to be when the big showdown with Thrawn happens.
you think it's gonna be that long?
Yeah, I don't think we'll see Boba. I think Boba will be contained to his own little area.
I feel like Mando, because we haven't gotten a Book of Boba, and might not even happen.
Yeah.
Mando season 4 probably.
Yeah. Look, and I think honestly,
Din's a bounty hunter again.
yeah, essentially he's back to the old ways. Um I think there's a bunch of characters. I'm gonna run through a list of characters right now, and
Okay.
new people we have and have not seen in this universe. And I want
Okay.
you to tell me, when do you think we're gonna see these people again, or
Okay.
for the first time, or if
Okay.
we will. Boba Fett, kind of
Ma-
discuss.
Mando season 4
I think either Mando season 4 or Book of Boba Fett season 2, if that happens.
or the Thrawn like movie.
Yeah, or the big culmination film.
Okay.
Fennec Shand, we saying the same thing?
Mando season 4, Book of Boba 2.
Okay. Luke Skywalker,
Ahsoka.
I also think we'll see Ahsoka.
Briefly, I hope. Briefly.
Yes, I hope. Well, the thing is anytime Luke is going to be in anything now, he's going to overshadow everything. It's Luke Skywalker,
Yes.
and so I also think Ahsoka. I think if we don't see him in Ahsoka, I don't think we see him for a while. I think
Probably
we
to
will
the
see.
movie.
Yeah, I think we will see him again though, because you're gonna want to save someone like Luke for the movie to get that big theater reaction.
Right.
Han Solo.
I'm surprised we haven't seen him out of everybody.
I am too.
I'd love Book of Boba. I thought that should have been what the plot of the first season was.
Yes, I think it should have been. Honestly, I think it would have been good to see him reconcile with a lot of people from his past.
I think Han's a big one.
Yes, he is literally like, honestly, he's the one who set Boba on that course
Right.
by accidentally almost killing him.
Like it'd be so funny if, and also question, would we go fully CGI'd or would we use Alden?
A part of me wants to say a bit of both. And what I mean by that is either go one way or go the other.
The de-aging of him looks good in Indiana Jones, so
Sometimes
yeah.
the problem is I think I'm with a lot of people. I don't want them to do it because I don't want it to feel like a crutch.
Hmm.
And ethically, like, it feels weird. So
I agree. I agree.
I say if Harrison Ford's okay with it, then sure. Like, Mark Hamill has openly said that he doesn't care. Just so long as and the money talks. But yeah, like, Mark Hamill's been open that he doesn't care if they do it, so long as they consult him about like what's happening.
Right.
But so he can come in and talk with the person. But
I've heard a lot of people say, because I assume they're gonna have to show up in that movie as it is.
it's too big. It's too big of a galactic
Event.
battle. Yeah,
Yeah.
like, it is literally the Grand Admiral of the Empire trying to become the heir and become the Emperor. So
I'd be fine if, I mean, we've already said Sebastian as Luke. I kind of
yeah,
convinced you of that.
yeah. I think I'd want Olden back. Why not? He was great as Han.
Alden, and then you could have, is it Carrie's daughter?
Yeah, you could
Yeah,
have.
his daughter.
Yeah, you could have Carrie's daughter play Leia, who I was going to ask you about next. And I think potentially we could see Jedi Leia specifically.
Oh my god.
Jedi Luke and Leia.
That would be so awesome. Probably the movie. I don't see where she would pop up at this point.
Yeah.
Or what does her political career look like now at the point of Ahsoka?
I think right now she's a senator.
Okay. She could pop up there.
Yeah. I think honestly, there's a chance she could get name dropped in Ahsoka.
Right.
Because we know we're going to see Mon Mothma in Ahsoka, which I'm very excited about.
Yes.
Great to see the Andor crossover with Genevieve
Yep.
O'Reilly.
Mm-hmm.
Lando.
I mean, I feel like he would fit in Boba or Mando, but probably the movie as well.
But again, if you think about it right now, he's a big rebel general. So, I could see it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to ask you, do you think at the end of all of this, do you think there is a chance we see a little Ben Solo?
Oh, for sure.
Ooh,
I feel like
you guys
that's how
think?
that movie's gonna end. I feel like it's
Yeah.
just gonna be like, oh yay, we won, but like you're gonna see Brendel Hux and like the rest
Mm,
of them in like the outer reaches and the unknown regions kind of form that first order. And
mm,
then we're gonna see little Ben Solo running around, be like, "Hey, this is the new guy. He's
mm.
the next hope."
I'm gonna say if you think at this point, he's probably like 5 to 8 years old.
Well,
So
who knows when this is taking place? Because John or
yeah,
Dave don't even know the
yeah,
time.
they can't even get on the same page. Um, trying to think who other major players could
Chewbacca.
Chewbacca. I feel like kind of same thing. Wherever Han is, he will be.
How about Hundo? Hundo.
I'd love to see Hondo.
Well, I don't know how we haven't seen him yet.
I don't know. We have his live action look because of Galaxy's Edge, so
Oh, Rex. Are we ever gonna see that dude?
maybe in Ahsoka.
I feel like he's dead.
No, they got Tamora Morrison, so
I feel like he's just died of old age.
no. I think honestly, I think he could live to see the movie and die in the movie.
Fuck.
Dude,
Yo, don't
could
do
you
that to me.
imagine? But then it would feel weird seeing Tamora Morrison play him. Like Rex is such a recognizable voice. It would feel weird.
And just also, if Tamora Morrison were to play Rex and also play Boba in the same thing, it would be. I think Tamora is capable of doing it,
Oh
but
yeah,
like
yeah.
like you're saying, Rex is just like
He is
iconic,
he has a look.
right?
But
Even
again,
old Rex has a look.
I'll say, but I think they could more than pull it off.
Yeah,
I would
I
be
assume
sad.
he's got to be a Ahsoka, right? Dave's not
Yeah.
just gonna be like,
No, yeah. He wants the fans to cry and cheer.
oh, what if he kills him in Ahsoka? He's gonna kill him in Ahsoka. He's gonna
Oh,
kill him in Ahsoka,
oh
isn't
my
he?
god. Have one of those weirdos with the orange lightsabers do it.
Balin and Shin.
Yeah. Okay, give me 1 second because I need to go use the bathroom.
Okay,
Let's take like a quick 1 minute break.
we'll take a quick 1 minute break here.
Because
Okay.
then we still have so much to talk about from 7 and 8.
We barely even touched on 7.
I know.
Honestly.
Just divulged somewhere else, so it's just
Yes.
a lot to talk about. All right.
Okay. We'll
1
be
minute.
back in a minute. We'll be back in a minute. Okay. 1 minute, guys. We'll be right back.
One minute. See?
Okay, we're back. We're back, folks. We're back.
I'm whew.
Where do you want to go? Where do you want to go?
We'll stay on 7. I want to talk about those Mandalorian survivors.
Okay.
Come on, I think we all thought they were spies.
100%.
I think to kind of go between 7 and 8 right now. Specifically touch on 8 real quick. That whole scene where they bring Bo to that like cave where there's grass was so weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
Mostly because of the pacing. I think a lot of people agree that episode 8 kind of had a little shoddy pacing.
The first half especially was like really, really rushed. I felt like I was like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
But I think like I don't know. It feels weird to know that there were survivors on the planet. I don't know. I feel like every time there's a big like destruction event in Star Wars, there's somehow always a survivor. And so I don't know. Like I don't know what to like feel about the survivors. Because I thought they were gonna go in so many different ways with them. I thought they were gonna be the spies. I thought they were going to, sell out to like Moff Gideon or
Mm-hmm.
something like I thought we were gonna go in so many different ways, and no, they were just survivors.
Right.
And so I don't know. What did you think about the Mandalorian survivors?
I mean, it kind of makes sense to me. We got to think that there were like probably millions of Mandalorians on that planet when he
Oh
blows it
yeah.
up. So it makes sense to me. They even say that there are more of them that didn't survive,
Mm,
that were eventually killed. Makes sense to me. It also makes sense that there wasn't a lot of travelers there, that they wouldn't be seen.
mm,
Um, the caves, like all that sort of thing. Uh, the the farm scene is just so weirdly placed to me. You made a
yeah.
good point that like they filmed it and they were like, "Where do we put this? Let's put it in the middle of the battle."
Mm,
Um, I
yeah.
I just felt like it was weird. It was less weird when I watched the second time.
Mm,
But still, I feel like it could have been a thing like at the end. Like they're like, "Oh, we have the planet, but like there's nothing left," and then they're like, "Well, look at this."
yeah. I
Um,
feel like that
which
would have been a
also
way better place.
It's also really curious. I'm really curious the next time we see Mandalore, is there vegetation everywhere? Do they rebuild Sundari? What's it look
Yeah.
like?
That's why I think what they should do for season 3, coming off of all this, I think they should, or season 4, I think they should have a time jump. I think they should
Yep.
have like a good five-year time jump. It would just feel kind of right that and make a lot of sense because you want to establish maybe Mandalore is starting to grow. Maybe Sundari is going to be back. Um, that's like it for me though. Like in terms of these like survivors, is it's just like their use was a little weird.
Okay. I get it. Yeah, I mean, they were really only a use in that episode 7, like telling them where the Great Forge was. Which, by the way, there are still just like giant ass monsters there, and like that's got to be taken. Like
Mm,
that in episode 7, there's just a giant ass monster that comes out of the ground, and nobody
yeah,
knows.
and that was an speaking of giant monsters, the Mythosaur.
I was so
What
disappointed.
a weird setup and usage of the Mythosaur. It was such a big thing from coming from from the Mines of Mandalore episode. It was huge. It wasn't
Mhm.
just like, oh, Bo saw this big creature. No, no. She saw the Mythosaur, the monster that literally inspired like all of Mandalorian iconography.
Right.
And what happened? Nothing. Literally, the only thing to really come of it was the armor was like, so you saw the Mythosaur? Okay, you can walk both worlds. You can take your helmet off.
Yeah.
It just felt
No,
like really weird. And then the Grogu's weird, like when he reaches out to it.
and it wakes up.
Yeah, and you're just like, okay, so I'm gonna assume where we're going with this is that in like what 600 years Grogu will talk to the thing. But I don't know. It's
It's
just weird.
It's odd because I remember when we talked about the leaks, it was leaked that Bo was gonna tame it. She was gonna ride on it in the ceremony.
Yeah.
That never happened. I don't know if that was cut. I don't know if that actually never happened.
Or it's
And
being saved.
that was crosswired. I thought when the episode originally came out, I originally thought that the Mythosaur pulled Din down
Mm-hmm.
and was like choosing Din as the leader. But no, the dumbass just fell, of course, because he is the dumbest dumbest and smartest Star Wars character of
Yes,
all time.
he's
He just
he's one
drowned.
he is one intelligent person 10% of the time. The other 90% he's clueless.
He just drowned, which was so again another tease. They're like, haha, let's have like him like nope. And then they were gonna go this route that Bo-Katan had this connection to the Mythosaur and how the armor would talk about, oh, if you see the Mythosaur, it symbolizes the next age of Mandalore. While she is partially right, Bo-Katan just had no connect. It's now Grogu.
Yeah. Again,
So is Grogu the next like leader or herald of Mandalore? I mean, we've always thought it was going to go that way.
I don't know. It's just, again, it's really weird. It's one of those things. They set it up and then they went nowhere with it. I think it's gonna honestly. I think it's gonna be one of those things. It's probably gonna be saved for the movie. I think once Dave and John found out that Dave was gonna direct the movie, they were kind of like, okay, then let's wait on a lot of this stuff. Let's see if we can drag it out a little bit more.
Oh yeah, the Rancor and the Mythosaur. That's gonna be sick.
I was gonna say,
Imagine
could
that.
you imagine like in an Avengers Endgame like runoff? The Remnant and the Mandos, flying towards each other, and then you see like Mando, Bo, and Grogu on the Mythosaur, and you see Boba and the Rancor walking along. Like, dude, that's gonna be so sick. But yeah, I think the Mythosaur is something that's probably just going to be saved for the movie. I think it just makes the most sense. There's no point to put it in the show right now, just because, again, we know the movie's probably going to be here in the next 4 years.
Right, and
So
also, we know Grogu's connection with animals very similar to Ezra's connection with animals.
yeah,
I feel like Grogu's gonna be the one that rides it, which is gonna be so funny.
now this
But
little creature riding this big ass dragon,
which we don't even know like how big it is.
Yeah.
We've just seen its head.
We've only seen the face. But yeah,
It's so weird to see it. We've seen it in like so many places, like way back to even Boba, and now to actually see it was pretty amazing, and then to see it again was pretty cool.
Yeah. I think it's very interesting. Coming off of also, let's talk a little bit more about Gideon, his new Imperial Super Commandos. What do you think about the design of them? You watch Rebels, so you obviously know what the original Super Commandos look like. Do you like the old or the new design better?
The new design, kind of. Honestly, I feel like it's more like invokes like the feeling of a stormtrooper, right?
Yeah, the helmet looks very First Order. So
right. Again, question: who forged the armor? But like whatever. Like, I mean, who knows?
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? No, I thought they were cool. The Imperial Super Commando was just kind of plain, just kind of like white Mandalorian armor. This one kind of invoked more of that Imperial Stormtrooper feel.
Some more blacks and grays in there, and they had honestly pretty sick weapons with the shield, the baton, the knife.
I actually felt like more threatened by them than like a regular Stormtrooper. Obviously,
I don't know. It was just really cool. I love the scene in episode 8 where Mando's going in the gauntlet against them. That was really good.
Shout out R5. R5.
Yeah. Yes, that was another funny scene. The Karen mouse droids coming up. That was funny. And then when he like flies off, one of them gets knocked off.
Like two of them just like
Yeah,
fall off. Yeah,
it was really funny.
that was good.
But yeah,
I'll go.
oh no, you go, you go, you go.
Want to talk about Grogu?
Oh, Grogu. Where did we start? What a weird season it was for Grogu. It was weird in a good way. So I thought coming into the season, we were going to see a little bit more of Grogu exploring with the Force and becoming a Mandalorian. We got the latter half of that.
Okay.
He's a Mando. He's Din Grogu. A little weird. I think it's gonna have to be a thing like when we first heard his name. That it's gonna kind of have to grow that's his official name now. I think everybody's still just gonna call him Grogu. I don't think Din's gonna call him Din Grogu. I think he's just gonna call him Grogu also. I think that also gives weird implications that Din's first name is Jaren. Not Din, but whatever. I feel like if anything, it would make and sound better to say Grogu Jaren. But whatever. Whatever floats.
Right.
Whatever floats the mouse's boat. But yeah, it was really cool to see the flashback. We finally know who rescued him. We know it was Kelleran Beck. Great shout out with Ahmed Best.
That was awesome. It was a really good scene. Probably one of my favorite of the season, honestly.
Yep. And the thing about it was it's one of those scenes, like it wasn't anything spectacular. It was just it's one of those just feels good. It feels good. It's good redemption for Ahmed, honestly.
It was also just like it was actually a really good scene.
Oh,
it's actually a really interesting Order 66 perspective.
Mm-hmm.
And instead of
and to think about like where'd they go next.
Right. Where I also like
what
Naboo.
Happened what happened to Kelleran? Why were they involved with the Naboo Royal Guard? So
shout out Padme.
I
already know it was her. We already know it was her there.
But yeah, I think like and then Grogu gets his new armor piece, his new chest piece.
Which is just giant on him.
Yes. Also the fact that we can't like see it like sticking out of his shirt, he should definitely like have a round thing. It was also cool seeing him have like little darts on him. I think honestly, I think that should be how he comes into the final battle. Is Din should just strap him with guns.
Oh my god.
Like, so what you're gonna do is you're gonna use the Force and you're gonna shoot people.
No. Him on top of Chopper.
Yes.
Chopper having guns.
Yes. Have it Grogu clearing waves, Chopper turning around, clearing out behind them. It's gonna give the feeling of Bucky and Rocket.
Yes.
That's what it's gonna feel like.
No, it was so funny in the finale when like the Praetorian guards are literally trying to kill him and he's just bouncing around, just
he's
giggling.
Laughing. Yeah. It was really cool.
He's just doing flips.
It's also just like, dude, like how long? Like, come on, we got to get the answer how long he was with Luke. Like for real. Like Dave and John, come up with a real number. There's no way that little baby learned all of that in a few months.
No.
We were seeing him learn how to jump.
It's also like a thing with like Luke on Dagobah. Like there's no like.
Yeah.
I mean, how long did he learn it on?
And say the thing like, and the way that they justified Dagobah was that so he was there for what, like 3 weeks, but then we found out that time works differently on planets strong in the Force. So for him, it probably felt like months.
Right.
But even then,
Wait, is that the actual explanation? Is that real?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. But
3 weeks. 3 weeks Jedi camp selling now.
Well, yeah, I'm saying
$300 a week.
It's probably like some more like 3 to 5 weeks. The only reference of time that we know is Obi-Wan said, "You think you are a Jedi because you've eaten Yoda's food for a few weeks, and a few is 3 or more." So,
yeah.
But yeah, Grogu was good in this season. I really did enjoy how he was used. It just, again, it's a recurring theme. Just didn't go the way I thought it would.
Right.
And hey, he was knighted on Plaisir 15 by Lizzo. So
we're not talking about that episode. Don't bring that episode up.
It's such a weird episode because it was a good episode. Just so random. No, it was good. Don't you even with me. It was good, but it had it.
I'd rather watch the droid arc.
No, it would no stop. It was good, but there were things about it I didn't like, and I told you that like it felt like a weird character regression for Din.
Right.
But whatever. It's in the past, okay? It's in the past. Hey, at least the last 5 minutes were cool.
Yeah, that is very true. That is
had one of my favorite fights in Star Wars.
Yeah, I will say the action was really like the hand-to-hand action, like Gideon's fight versus Bo was really well done. Gideon's fight versus like Din like like Gideon feels like very robotic, mechanical.
Yeah.
Which it was always something I worried about. Like in season 2, Gideon gets like his ass whipped like really quickly by Din. I was like, how are they gonna make it so like he doesn't get his ass whipped and he has like pretty dope armor and pretty dope gadgets? Which it's also funny when he says Mandalorians are weak without their gadgets, but this motherfucker literally has like all the gadgets on his body at the same time. Literally has like multiple. He launched like 3 wrist launch rockets. Like
which
he had
somehow didn't kill Din.
No, had like 3 like the knee guns that like Boba had. Casca also had them. She used them.
Yeah, Din also has them.
Din also has. Those are dope. I would use those all the time. I would go to that like first move. Like if somebody didn't know me, I'm like, they're gonna think I'm shooting from the hip.
They're gonna think I'm drawing from the hip. But in all actuality, I just got to bend my knee and like point my foot up to shoot. But yeah, I don't know. I feel.
Grogu's in a weird spot. That's what I'll say. But I will say,
yeah,
I like the progression. Like this season now, he was like able to fight.
Yeah, and hey, we thought multiple times throughout the season that he was speaking first words. We thought he tried to say this is the way,
right?
And I'm telling you, I could have sworn him say thanks.
Okay,
in that finale.
I watched it. I'm like, I think it's just a gurgle, but it does sound like him saying thanks.
But hey, we also talked about this on the phone. Star Wars had its first F-bomb. So
Marvel also. If you watch the Peter Quill literally says, what does he say? Open the fucking door or something like that, but they bleep it out.
Yeah. No. This wasn't bleep though. This was I'm out, motherfuckers.
They literally had the Anzelans say it, and I saw it on TikTok, and they're like, "Is this the first F-bomb?" And so I'm like, "What? Did I miss something?" And I just hear him in the background go, "I'm out, motherfucker," and I'm like, "What?
I'm telling you,
they kept that in. They kept that in. 100%. They kept that in.
Yeah, and I'm telling you that right now, it goes to show that anybody trying to say Mace Windu's alive is just wrong. He was reincarnated as an Anzellan.
He's that Anzellan bad baby.
Yes, the Anzellans are so cute. I love them so much.
No squeeze, no squeezy.
The droid broken. It broke.
He's
not friend anymore. I love them.
No,
they're so good.
Also, good story. Good. I will say this felt like a very good wrap up of season 1 and 2. That's why we're kind of saying it's like the end of like the first chapter or the first phase of this. IG-11 now the Marshal that fills a hole. We had a Navarro. Like that story a lot. Hopefully it doesn't kill them, and become rogue. Yeah, but no. I also like the mech. We that was a rumor too. Like the mech. For Grogu.
IG-12, yeah.
No.
That
scene was so funny.
Yes, when he's walking in on that, no. Also, like, why would Moff Gideon put only those 2 words? Why only those 2 words?
No, yes. He could only answer yes or no questions. It's just like
that was one of my other favorite scenes when he gets the mech at first and he's walking through Navarro, just spamming the yes word. Oh man,
It
it
is
was
like I cannot do this.
yeah. I was honestly waiting for when when Bo was having the little meeting with everyone about like who's going to be the scouting party going down for for Din to be like, I'll do it, and Grogu goes, no, no, no.
No, it's so funny. Din's like, you could not. He could not go in that suit. He's not ready. And he goes,
Yes.
no.
uh,
And then Grief Karga is like, yeah, let him walk around. He goes, yes. And
yes.
then he just walks around he like constantly is pressing the yes button as he's walking. It is so funny. No, it's good.
Yeah.
Uh,
I'll say this though. The comedy of this season was really good. It was really, really good.
yeah, no, it was. It was funny. It was funny. Yeah. I thought, you know, yeah, I think Grogu, I like seeing Grogu being more capable. There was a
Mhm.
funny meme I saw about how they all literally power glide in like the
Yes.
final fight. They
That's
all
what I'm
literally,
saying, bro. They're a family.
like
They're fast and furious on us right now.
Grogu's is so funny to me.
Yes.
And
Also,
also
his walk at the end of the episode when he go when they go see Carson is like wide wobble.
the
It's great.
puppeteer, I'm like, oh my god, that's so funny. It's like
Yeah. He's trying to keep up with him.
which is always something I've wondered. Is like, how does he keep up with everybody? We
Yeah,
see it with the armor. The armor just walks away from him, and he's like, "Wait, wait,
yeah.
wait, wait! I'm coming."
I like that they got rid of his what's it called? His little tram thing that he's in. So he doesn't have to float around. He can just walk around.
Oh,
Or he
yeah,
can jump
yeah,
around.
yeah. He's got hops, man.
Yeah.
No, but he's the reason that Gideon lost. He lost all of his weaponry because
Hmm.
of.
Yeah, man. Grogu's the ultimate savior. What can we say?
Also, we gotta stop with the fire thing. We've seen him stop
Yeah.
fire now like multiple times. I was like,
Now I need to see him stop a tsunami.
yeah,
Let's
there you
just
go.
go through all the four elements or four
Tsunami.
major elements. We need a tsunami, we need an earthquake, and then we need a lightning storm. Um, yeah, I
People
think that.
said they got Kanan vibes from that.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Well, no, because Kanan
Because
died. So
Kanan died.
Grogu didn't. Um,
If Kanan was better, he would have lived. No, I'm sorry.
yeah,
Kanan
sorry.
was Kanan was good. I
He's
like Kanan.
goaded. Um, yeah, I think that really wraps up Grogu for us. I don't know. I'm
I
trying
mean,
to
it's really
remember.
not. It's not. I mean,
Yeah,
I think we
yeah,
covered.
I think that's really it for 7 and 8, and I think the whole season.
What would you give the season?
I could give it an 8 out of 10. And seeing as I gave season 1 a 9 and season 2 a 10,
Uh-huh.
I think that fits. I think it fits. I don't think I can give it a 7 because again, every episode was good. Every episode's had flaws, but they were good. They were fun watches. There was nothing mind-bending like where you had to really really stretch your imagination. It was just all good storytelling. Again, it had its pitfalls, but ultimately name a story that doesn't.
Right.
So yeah, I think a solid 8. I can't go higher, I can't go lower.
I'm going to give this season a 7.5 out of a 10.
All right. That's not bad. That's not bad.
Season one I gave a 9, and season 2 I'll give a 9.5, 10. So I just think episode 6 is horrible. It's the worst episode of the show, maybe.
No, I still think though it was entertaining, at least. The Toro Calican one is still just so mind-bogglingly bad.
I still think that one's probably worse, but like in the moment, I was like, "This is."
No, it's just like I liked a lot about it. I liked Din and Bo in that episode. I loved their
Mhm.
banter back and forth. Again, the only thing I didn't like was Din's random character regression that he
Right,
took. It just felt so out of place and felt so season 1.
right.
I was
With
it
the
like
droids and stuff. Yeah, I was
yeah,
like, "What the hell?"
yeah. Like I didn't mind seeing Lizzo or Jack Black. It was whatever. Um, so yeah, I was okay with it. I think it was much more entertaining than the Gunslinger. Gunslinger's bad.
The Gunslinger is bad. Yeah, I mean, I think my two favorite episodes. I think my favorite episode would probably be The Spies. I think mine's a Mandalore
Mm,
would be probably my second favorite, and I would say probably the finale would be my third favorite.
yeah, I'd probably say in that order too. I'd probably say in that order. Um,
I think
I
The
also,
Spies was like
yeah,
really good writing and really good
hmm
storytelling. I would
yes,
also say I'm not ready to go there yet, but at points in this season, I was gonna say Andor is the best Star Wars show.
nah, not there
Not
yet.
yet. Do you need another
Um,
season of Andor to?
yes, I do.
If you have another like as good of season as Andor as season one, would you say it?
Yes,
Okay,
because Andor every single arc was consistently amazing. So,
right.
um, but even then, again, I loved the Foundling. I loved the Pirate. Uh, again, I think the worst episode in the entire season was the third episode. I thought that was bad, but not bad like egregiously bad. I thought, wow, never do this again.
Just boring.
Yeah, just like not a lot of, and I'm not one of those people who I need to see an explosion every 3 minutes. You just kind of didn't focus on the Mandalorian.
I would also add that I think what would have better this season if somebody said it. I think if like maybe they said either at the end of episode 3, they would have done it where Gideon's escape is introduced earlier.
Yeah, I think that's also another through line that I probably would have fixed is make it a more earlier established thing. The other thing that I would have done is I honestly would have just had the final 3 episodes of Book of Boba Fett be the premiere of this show or this season. Those are just two Din focused, like take the Din focused moments and put them there.
Right.
Because I'm sorry, like the Return of the Mandalorian is such a good episode, and then to see the follow up of that also the reunion, like I'm telling you, I like how also I will give this season credit where it's due. They didn't recap the Book of Boba Fett for people who didn't see it.
No.
If you
They
didn't
just
see
straight into it.
if you didn't see the Book of Boba Fett, then you're just going to be confused as to how they got reunited. You need to go watch the other show.
Right.
But so I like that about it. I just wish that's how the season started.
I agree. Because those episodes, like you said, are probably two of the better like Mandalorian centric episodes.
Mm-hmm.
I would have altered the way the Book of Boba Fett was.
Mm-hmm.
I still would have kept Boba's first 4 episodes and then have
4 more.
you could have kind of you could have had like another episode of the Book of Boba Fett and then had that finale, but Din
Mm-hmm.
still comes into the finale but Grogu's just not there.
Yeah.
You kind of rework how that all goes, and then
yeah, the other thing I would have done, the season was like the episodes were way too short. 30 minutes.
right.
I was getting Bad Batch feels here. Like
I mean,
not like
Bad Batch episodes felt longer at some points. You know what I'm
yes.
saying?
Specifically the Bad Batch episode where they go to that mine that Sid sends them to, and then that's when Tech and Omega have that conversation. That
Right.
episode felt like it never ended.
Yeah.
And so instead of giving us a 50-minute episode on Dr. Pershing and Elia Kane, I would have rather seen that be 30 minutes and not at all happening. Which again, I feel, and it's one of the
Damn,
things,
he does not like Dr. Pershing at
no,
all, man.
it's not that. It's just like, dude, why give this guy so much character development and just kill him?
Yeah, he literally doesn't show up. He's dead.
He's dead because Elia Kane killed him. Also, that's another thing. How are we going to deal with this Elia Kane problem? What's
she's
her
just
purpose?
there.
What's her purpose now? Gideon's
just
dead.
there.
Oh well. I feel like watch it be a thing that we're gonna find out that in like Ahsoka or season 4 of the show. Oh, we found out she was a spy for Gideon.
I also want to mention they did a good job dodging the whole Cara Dune thing.
Yeah, again, I think honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if the first 4 episodes of Mando season 4 were the plot of Rangers of the New Republic. Just
Right.
instead of focusing on her who's Din.
It's so painful to tell that they had to rework some of this stuff. You can clearly tell.
You can see so much of the stuff with the New Republic was just completely rewritten. You can just tell because so much of the show feels like, yeah, that makes sense to come from season 2 to this, and then you're like, ooh, this don't feel right. Because you can tell that Carson's character was meant to be Cara Dune. You could just tell.
Yep. Oh, that's 100% perfect. He was never meant to have that big of a role.
Yeah, you could tell it was meant for Cara Dune.
Which at this point, let's just recast. Can we just recast? Can we just do that?
Because when we talk about something else later on, it just makes sense at this point.
Can we just do it? I think that's actually a good segue. Do you want to do it?
Let's do it. Let's segue to Mr. Jonathan Majors.
Oh, no.
Very quick. This is going to be a very quick conversation because there's no point to talk about it for more than 5 minutes. What an unfortunate situation.
It sucks. I mean, it sucks obviously from obviously the victim standpoint. But also sucks from, I mean, this is a show where we talk about nerd stuff. This sucks from a comic book standpoint for us. We literally 2 months ago saw a post-credit scene where literally all of his variants are played by him.
Yeah.
And I think it's a done deal at this point. He will not be back. He committed career suicide. Whatever you want to say, he committed career suicide essentially. What do they do?
I think at this point, I know you. I think you kind of said it best. I think they should either recast or they should probably just have something where we see Doctor Doom take over. Because, I mean, honestly, it's like one of those things. What do you do? Because how do you address that post-credit scene? Marvel still hasn't put out a statement.
No.
And I don't know. I feel weird. It feels weird because let's also not forget in a few months Loki comes out.
Right. I saw a thing because they're releasing it already has been Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania on disc, and it's still advertising. Watch the beginning of a new dynasty, like referencing Kane.
Yeah.
Like they're still marketing him as the next big thing. And it's like, I mean, Majors is fantastic in that role. I mean, he's the best part of Ant-Man and Wasp Quantumania.
Oh, yeah.
He's great as He Who Remains. And my whole thing is just like, I cannot imagine being Kevin Feige right now. You have worked this out. We already know. We've talked about it since COVID. They've been working this story to get to Secret Wars. And now it's like, it's been reworked as it is already. We already see we're not getting as many shows as we used to. We're getting stuff spaced out. It's been a mess. I think it's all going to end as a mess too, because I don't see a way that they could actually work their way out of this. I think the best thing probably would be to recast, right? I don't think going the Doom route is going to make sense because all of these television shows and movies are working around the idea that Kane is going to be the big bad at the end. So like you would have to rework everything, keep pushing stuff back. And I think people are getting pissed off of you pushing stuff back. I know I am. I'm incredibly frustrated. You've done it like 4, 5, 6, 7 times in the past 3 years. So I think they got to recast, but they're not going to get somebody as dynamic as Jonathan Majors. I throw out a name. I throw out John Boyega. I think that would be interesting.
I just don't agree with that. I don't think he's as charismatic as Majors.
He's older, but Giancarlo.
Really? I can see it. Although I was pulling for him to be Professor X, but
yeah, he's older, but it could work.
Yeah, I mean, let's see. Oh, how old's our boy?
Gotta be 60, right?
Hold on. 64.
He would be old.
He looks great.
Yeah, but also it's like, what can you? Well, I guess he did the action scenes, right? For Mando.
Looks like it, yeah.
He could do some action stuff.
I don't know. It really sucks to see the position Marvel's in. You're between a hard place and a rock. Let's also establish one thing. He's not coming back.
Oh, 100%. There's no way.
If anything, the worst I could see them doing is they'll probably allow him his last role to be for Loki.
Right.
Because come on, if you push Loki back, that's not going to go over well.
Well, he's also from leaks and stuff. He's not like an integral role, but he is a part of the story. I mean, he kind of is an integral role, I should say.
So
I don't know what you do.
I'm gonna say you could theoretically push Loki back and have somebody stand in for him. Wouldn't be surprised. But let's not discount. This isn't Warner Bros. Where Ezra Miller's still with the Flash. This is going to be like I could honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if in the next few weeks we hear Loki gets delayed for some bullshit reason, but deep down it's because they're recasting Kang. I think that's just the point. That's what they should do.
I think they got to do it.
Yeah, maybe if you want to let the Loki season air as it is, it's just again, the thing that made Jonathan Majors so great as Kang was his charisma, right. And honestly, I'm okay losing that for someone else.
Yeah, right. I mean, also you got to think about it from a legal standpoint, a legal stature. This is going to take a long time to litigate.
Yeah, and especially with more people coming forward,
even an employee that worked on Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania said that they were a victim of his.
Yeah,
that's not good, and I think that's Disney probably already knew about that. Marvel probably already knew about that before it was released to the trades. That's where I think if there was any discussion or deliberation at all, I think that's where the line was drawn when it was one of their own employees. We already know he's lost some sponsorship deals. He's lost a chance to be in a movie. His PR dropped him. Yep. His management, I believe, dropped him.
Yeah, it's crazy to think that. I think I was with everybody was saying him and Michael B. Jordan, bro, they were riding high for Hollywood.
Oh yeah, they were the next. They were going to be the next best acting duo. When you think about acting duos, you think about you think of Leo and Jonah Hill, like they're in everything together, like all that type of thing. That's not happening anymore. And if all of these things are true, and these are allegations at this point, we got to address them as that. But if it is all true, it's bad. It's a terrible person. But essentially this is career suicide. This is like I told Alex this, when you look at the definition of career suicide, it's gonna be a picture of Jonathan Majors, because his career is essentially over.
Absolutely.
Most likely, and rightfully so. So it sucks from obviously our standpoint, covering this type of stuff, but I don't know what you do. I think his last appearance would probably be in Loki. And if you don't want to watch the show because of that, you have every right to do it, right? But I think from a logistical standpoint, probably not going to delay it more than they already have.
Yep, unfortunately.
All right, let's get on. What do we want to talk about? Let's get on higher. Oh, the Marvels trailer, right? We want to talk about that. Let's get on a higher note.
Let's talk about the Marvels. Trailer was fun.
Interested?
Yeah. I still kind of have a question of who the villain's going to be. I don't think, maybe I didn't pick up on it, but
I just rewatched and I have no idea.
I'm going to say, I think the premise is cool. I like the idea that they're, every time they use their powers, they switch places. I think that's a unique thing to do. I don't know. It's just like, what's the plot of the movie?
Yeah.
So I don't know. I thought it was fun. I thought it was a fun watch of the trailer, but like despite that fun watch, I'm still not excited for this film. Um,
Really? I thought you were higher on it than. Oh, I'm gonna ream it then. So
oh
go
no
ahead.
no 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 no! I enjoy the trailer. I still don't care.
Yeah. Well, I would say like I it's one of my favorite shots now of Phase 4, honestly, is them like using their powers fighting against each other, but they're
Mm,
changing places in the same spot. You know,
yeah.
the end shot that what I'm talking about when all three of them together. I'm
Mm.
really excited to see their chemistry. I think
Oh yeah.
Iman Vellani, Brie Larson, and who plays Monica Rambeau?
Stop. Tiana Paris.
Tiana Paris. I think their chemistry is gonna be great. I could kind of tell that from the trailer. I'm really excited to see that. It's gonna be really cool to see like a female centric, like all three of them are female, so female centric superhero story.
Yeah.
It's also like a really cool like blending of cultures, right? Obviously Kamala Khan being from a Muslim background,
Mm,
Tiana Barris being African American, and Brie Larson being white. I think that's kind of cool as well. Yeah, it's just they're all similar characters in their power sets. That's another
mm,
really cool and interesting thing.
yeah.
I'm most excited to see their chemistry. I already like this better than I did the Marvels. I don't think that Brie can kind of carry her own film. I think she's a very capable actress, but I just don't
Mm,
think she's got the charisma or
yeah.
the ability to just be a face of a film. I think with
Mm,
other co-leads, I think it's going to be
yeah.
helpful and beneficial to this film. And again, no disrespect to like Brie. I think she's great. I just don't, for me, I just don't feel like she can be the big face of a film like other actresses and even actors. I think there
Yeah.
are actors out there who I don't think could be. I'm going to be honest. I don't think Ruffalo could be the face of a film.
Yeah. Same.
I just don't think he can do that.
I don't know. Yeah. I I think with my thing right now, as Marvel, we're in phase 5 now. Crazy to say that.
Jeez.
I don't know. I think I saw this video on TikTok about like after phase 5 ends or after Secret Wars. I think I'm with the rest or with this video because it had a lot of support. That I think the MCU should reboot after phase 6. And I think that's what I think the next saga should be about. Phases 7 through 9 is I think it should be a reboot, new Tony Stark, new Captain America. Now this time in the universe we have mutants, we have the Fantastic Four, Spider-Man, all that because, I don't know. I think for those who didn't hear the news, Spider-Man is now some of it's on, but more is coming to Disney Plus in America, which means Sony and Marvel have come to a massive agreement because that was kind of one of the big sticking points was Spider-Man.
Right.
I think what they should probably do after phase
And
6 is
Venom too,
over.
right?
Yeah,
Venom.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I think so too. I think that should be something that they should look at is rebooting. Give us a new MCU after that, with a new Iron Man. Again, everything redone. Kind of give us a for some other DC. Give us like a Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of thing from that. Give us a thing where we essentially the it ends with a new universe being made. Um, and I think because with the whole debacle of what Earth is the MCU in? Is it 616? Is it Earth 199999? I think that's what we should do. And I don't know. I think in this new universe, I think Captain Marvel should play a bigger role than what she is in the comics. Captain Marvel is a massive Avenger, so
Right.
I think that's probably something that I would want to see is Captain Marvel be a little bit bigger of a deal than what she is. Um, and I don't know. I think that's what this movie should do. I think that's probably my biggest thing that I want to see is I want to see these movies make these characters feel more important than what they are.
Right.
And I hope that's what we see. I hope that's what we see with Monica. I hope that's what we see with Carol. I hope that's what we see with Monica or with Kamala. So yeah, that's the big thing I want to come from this movie is I want these characters to feel important, and then I hope the MCU reboots and these characters stay important.
Yeah, I like that for sure. Obviously, Carol was big at the end of the Infinity Saga, and really has just been in a post-credit scene, right, so far for
Yeah.
Phase. She was in the post-credit scene of Shang-Chi.
Well,
Um, she's kind of been big cosmic realm-wise, but I agree. I feel like, well, she's not gonna be the face of the Avengers. It's probably gonna be Sam, but
but
of
even
like the
yeah, even though even then with this like how big she is cosmic wise, it's a lot of telling, not showing.
right. Yeah.
So
I mean, we really haven't seen we know, like, stories, but we really haven't seen it. I really feel like when we have the big Secret Wars and Kane Dynasty thing, she'll be the one that gets the cosmic Avengers together, right? Like the
mm,
Guardians and
I hope
the other
I hope
outsiders that there.
again
I hope so.
I hope this movie makes her a big deal. Like
Right.
that's ultimately what I want to happen is I want this movie to make her feel important because
Right.
ultimately she does it. I didn't feel she was important in Endgame. She wasn't even in Infinity War. Um, all that. So that's my big hope.
To use a baseball analogy, she's kind of just like a relief pitcher. You
Mm,
just kind of like, come on. You're not like a big name. You just come on, but you're a really good reliever. She's like really good when she's in the moment because she's really powerful. But besides that, there's no real substance there. And I'm also curious. I kind of would like them to become at the end of the movie just like a trinity that stays together. They're a team. They're the
mhm.
Marvels that just stays together.
Yeah.
Um, and I agree with you on the villain thing. I have no idea who the villain. I think it's we've read it in leaks and stuff, but like I
Mm,
don't even remember.
yeah.
And I'm still a little bit concerned about this film because there's like a musical,
Yeah. I don't know. I hope we don't get Thor: Love and Thunder with this movie where they prioritize the comedy over any plot.
right? Which I'm a little bit worried about.
Yeah, same Z's, man.
And
Same Z's.
Nick Fury look like Nick Fury.
Maybe.
Maybe actually maybe who knows with Secret Invasion.
I
So
know. So excited for it, dude. So
giving me
excited.
Winter Soldier vibes, man. Just Winter Soldier
Yes.
vibes. So excited for it. You got anything else? I mean, there was really nothing in the trailer. It's like a minute and a half of just
Yeah.
them.
Dude, all I'm saying, June gonna be quite a big this summer is just gonna be massive. It's just gonna be massive. Like this summer, from May literally to August is going to be such a big time for me. I cannot wait.
Okay,
I got graduation coming up next month.
right,
And then in June, we have Secret Invasion.
right.
Um in July, potentially maybe Loki somewhere in there hopefully. Jedi Survivor comes out next week. Forgot to even
Right.
mention that.
We have Guardians coming out
Guardians
2 weeks.
May 5th. May 4th is coming up. In how many days is May 4th? May 4th is in 7
Like 13,
9
14,
yeah,
15.
hold on. 1 2 3 7 8 9 10 11 12 days.
Okay.
Uh so May 4th,
Star
July
Wars Visions comes out that day.
Visions. And then for me personally, my niece is going to be born soon in this time
Ah, that's
period.
awesome. That's awesome.
So going to be putting her on some Star Wars from birth. Um,
You'll be an uncle. Wow.
yeah. Uh, and then Secret Invasion June 21st,
Mm-hmm.
Ahsoka in August.
Yeah.
So it is literally such a time to be alive right now.
It's gonna be
Well, I guess the Flash in June too.
the what?
The Flash.
We will not be. I will not be seeing that.
I don't know. I'm very torn on going to see it or not.
It looks cool, but
It
yeah.
does. The story looks actually really enticing. But
Right.
I don't want to support that movie.
Did you see Shazam?
No, I've heard nothing good about it.
Did you see it's made less money than Morbius?
Yes, I did see that.
That's crazy.
Never thought I'd see the day.
That's crazy. I saw Morbius, and Morbius is a bad movie, but like,
Yeah.
yeah,
What I find funny right now, I guess, for closing out, because we were talking about Mando earlier. Fans of media. This is what you should take away from this conversation, specifically our Mandalorian conversation. Stop caring about so much. It doesn't matter that the Mandalorian is not performing as well as season 2, which is a lie. That is a lie. It's performing better than season 2, but it's just not performing numeric or percentage wise better. Best
right.
way to put it. Just have fun. Learn to have fun.
Just everyone shut up. How about that?
Yeah, such a drowsy topic to talk about.
I like this because me and you, we get to come on here, we get to
Mhm.
say what we think. We generally talk, hey, we don't like this, we do like this, but it's
Yeah,
not like Alex and I are gonna go like have a fight off of camera because like we
yeah,
we
no,
disagree a lot about a lot of stuff.
yeah.
But it's just like some people are just like they care too much. Who gives a shit?
Mm,
Somebody likes it, somebody doesn't. Who cares?
I hope I hope when these people die, I hope that they can still care as much as they do in death about all the stuff that they care about here. Like the amount of people who were bitching about Grogu's walk when they went to go see Carson in the finale. Come on. Come on. It's a puppet. It's a little green puppet walking.
Yeah, it's it's like what Harrison Ford says. It's like
It's
when he
not
talks
that
about the. It's not that kind of movie, kid.
it's not that kind of series. It's just not that.
It's not it. Oh my god, just so it's like people care too much. Like
Mm.
both like sides just like, "Oh my
Listen,
god, this is the best thing ever." Shut up. Like
again,
shut up.
but I also we're saying all this, but let's not forget the people who watched the Praetorian Guard fight in Last Jedi at point 0.5 speed. So
Just overanalyzed
that
everything.
no, that is it's another level of sad. It's a
Who has
real
time to do that? You know you have too little time or too much time, like free
mm,
time when you're like like
yeah,
analyzing
it
that
was
fight
also
frame
given
by frame.
yeah, also given flashbacks to when people were this was around like early 2000 like 11 and 12 when people were breaking down the Revenge of the Sith fight with Anakin and Obi-Wan, breaking down how illogical the fight was and how that part when Obi-Wan's lightsaber changes constantly.
Yeah.
Like, bro, who cares? That's the
You
end
know,
note of this. Stop caring so much.
another favorite one of mine is in the Clone Wars. It's like a scene where Anakin takes his
Oh,
lightsaber out.
he's got the lightsaber
He's
on the
got
belt as well.
he still has the lightsaber on the belt. It's so funny. It's funny.
It's
There's
it's
also a shot in the Ahsoka trailer where you see a camera. There's just a camera in the background that they didn't
mhm,
cut out of the trailer, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so funny. It's
yeah.
funny. It's funny. Who cares?
It's funny. Let's also remember we're
Even
human.
in the fucking Last of Us, there was a scene with like it's an overhead shot, and you
Mm,
just see the cameraman like down below, and I'm like,
yeah.
that's funny. It's funny. It's not.
It's tiresome how much people care about the dumbest things.
It's just, but remember Camera Guy in season 2 of The Mandalorian who was like in the background of a
Yes.
shot and they edit him out? Like, what? Come on, that's cool, man. Like, that's
Mm,
because then we make these fun like canon explanations of who that guy is. Remember,
yeah.
like Ice Cream Guy? Ice Cream Guy's got like a whole story in Star
Yeah.
Wars.
Wilrow Hood.
He's got a whole story. That's so cool.
Just because
That's
he had
like,
a little ice cream maker.
yes,
And now we literally then in the Mandalorian see that same ice cream maker hold a bunch of fucking Beskar.
right, yeah. And
It's
people
fun.
dress up. I mean, just live life, man. Just enjoy it and
Yeah.
don't enjoy it. Talk about it, and
Right.
then like,
Yeah. The,
who
the
cares?
takeaway from this: don't care so much. Don't be an asshole and learn how to swim. Yeah.
I can't swim.
Sorry. Had to make a joke. Had to make the joke.
Um, is that wow? That was a long show. I haven't done that long of a show in a really long time. It was good
I
though.
know.
It was good though.
I know. Oh
Um,
wait. There's still quickly. Bad Batch season 2 was better. There we go. Since I wasn't here
Alex
for
is
that, it was
Alex is
better.
Quantumania. Thoughts?
Next question.
Is a movie.
Yeah, it certainly happened.
End of Andor. Were you? Yeah, End of Andor.
What a show.
Good. Okay.
What a show.
So we should be back next week for a preview. Can't believe it's already here. Of Guardians of the Galaxy, Volume 3. Where people are already complaining about the CGI of that movie because of an Adam Warlock flying scene. But we will be back to preview that movie. We will answer. Alex and I will come up with some questions, and we'll discuss
Haven't had to do that in a while.
what we think is going to happen. And then the following week, we will review the movie. And then after that, we'll see, because there's nothing coming out. So, we'll see. We'll do something maybe. Yeah. Maybe we'll talk about Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantum. Maybe we'll force each other to.
Maybe we won't.
To watch it together, or.
No, hold your breath.
Maybe I pick a bad movie and you pick a bad movie. We force each other to watch it. Never forget, one of the first memories I have with Alex, he made me watch The Last Jedi with him. He forced me to do it. He said if I didn't
do it, we should do again. We should do that again. Another rewatch of The Last Jedi.
No. If we do that, you have to watch Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania.
Next question.
Or how about we do one that's bad for both of us? We watch The Rise of Skywalker.
So are we still on the table to watch Ant-Man then?
Yeah. All right. Well, that's going to do it for today's show. As always, may the Force be with you. May you stay burdened with glorious purpose and learn how to swim. Peace out, everybody.